going to be great. It's going to be fantastic. It's going to be, we are live with the magic of streaming these days and the magic of StreamYard. We are actually today in 3 places with, Winning Woman on YouTube and Business, and we are with Gill Clark. And it's wonderful to see you here, Gill. Really, really nice to have you with us. Gill is part of the Hearts in Business, and she's a homeopath. I can't pronounce that word. Extraordinaire. Different things as well you have done over your life. Haven't you? You've been a swimming teacher. You've done some work or sold some beautiful magnets. I've got some on me.
Yeah, I'm still selling them as well.
Yes, that's right. So maybe you'll give us a little bit of outline of what you do, because you do a lot of things, haven't you? But with lockdown in the last year or last year and a half, really now, it's been quite a different way of working. So you embrace the love of homeopathy that you had studied a while ago. Am I right, Gill? Gill, would you like to tell us a little bit? Yes, Sandra's found us. So hello, Sandra. It's wonderful.
Hi, Sandra. Firstly, thanks, Helen, for inviting me to come and talk today about everyday homeopathy. As you know, I've always been interested in natural health, and homeopathy has been my real passion for a long time. Really, since the first time I was given a homeopathic remedy, which was 25 years ago, my body started talking to me, and I got in touch with my body for the first time in my life. That was very powerful. So, as you say, I've done quite a lot of things over my changeable career, but because of lockdown and how it's been difficult to work in the ways that we've worked before, I've come back to homeopathy in a different way. I now hold consultations with clients on Zoom, and I also do walk-in consultations from my house in Billericay in Essex. I've got a lovely country park nearby, so some people really like that as well. Some people prefer that. So I want to inspire you today and tell you the basics of homeopathy, really, so that anyone that's watching this can go and buy a first aid kit or a remedy and be able to use it and understand what's happening. But first of all, let's just talk about health for a minute, because we probably don't always think of this, but health is the cornerstone of our life. If we're not healthy, then everyone that we live with suffers, and we suffer, and we may not even be aware of that sometimes. So I would like to introduce you in a little while to something that is going to change the way you think about health, and I call it my health treasure chest. You know, what if there was a health treasure chest that you had access to all the time that could support you and your family with everyday ailments? And this is the health treasure chest that I'm talking about. A homeopathy first aid kit, which anyone can use. It's very easy to use and it's empowering, but I'll come back to that later.
Can I just interrupt you, Gill? I just put that the sound has some feedback, so I want to double check that it's not the case anymore. There seemed to be a little bit of vibration in the background. If anyone can just let me know if everything is okay, just for a second. Maybe it might be easier if I let you and I disappear and let you, and maybe, but I don't want to. Let's see if I can do that. Yeah. Okay. No, there's a little bit of sound in the background, but I'm not quite sure why. So we'll carry on. Nobody has a message, so let's go for it.
Okay. So first, a little bit about what I do as a homeopath. I call myself a natural health specialist because over many years, although I'm not a qualified nutritionist, I've learned a lot about nutrition that I can share with people. So when people have a consultation with me, I am talking to them and thinking about what homeopathic remedies I can give them, but I'm also really like a health facilitator. So I'm looking at what their lifestyle is like, what they eat, whether they exercise, whether they sleep, what their digestion's like, how they cope with stress, and lots of other things like that. And then I'm supporting them personally, and I'm also giving them prescriptions in the post or face to face that they can take to rebalance their body. I also provide surgery support kits for people that are having surgery in hospital so they recover quicker, and also birth and labour kits as well. I don't want to talk much really about Samuel Hahnemann because there isn't time, but he was the founder of homeopathy. He was a German, and he's the man that we have to thank for discovering homeopathy and put it into practice hundreds of years ago. So what is homeopathy? Well, really, it's a complete system of medicine that treats the whole person, not just the symptoms. So the difference between that and allopathic medicine is that if you've got a sore throat, you might go to the doctors or speak to the doctor on the phone these days, and the doctor might prescribe antibiotics or something else for you. Whereas in homeopathy, there are lots of different remedies for sore throats. And the way that we distinguish between them is the modalities. So they are what makes your symptoms better or worse. So if your sore throat was better for swallowing, better for drinking cold water, but worse for eating, it would be one remedy. And if your sore throat was better for talking, but worse for nighttime, for instance, it would be another remedy. So that's how we distinguish. And there's lots of different remedies for sore throats. You know, for everyday ailments, there's probably 20 different remedies.
So what you're saying, Jill, is that it's very quite precise, isn't it? And really, because you need to really identify what's happening with the person's body.
It is quite precise, yeah, it is. But when, you know, the way to learn anything in life is to try it. And what I find with my clients who have the first aid kits, the treasure chests, it's that, you know, really, if someone's not well in the family, they have got to open their first aid kit, look at the little book, and if it's a headache, you know, look at the remedies that there are for headaches, and then look at the different descriptions and try one. Because the great thing about homeopathy is it can't do any harm. It's completely natural and it works in harmony with your body. So it can't do any harm. It doesn't have any side effects. It boosts your immune system, can make you healthier in the future and that of your family. And anyone can benefit. So from, you know, babies in the womb to babies that have just been born to anyone, whatever age they are, whatever their level of health, up to old age, and even when people are passing away, there's still remedies that can help them. You know, there's remedies for the fear of death that we can give to help people pass over. And lots of the remedies that might seem quite complex, because there are lots and lots of symptoms in every remedy, but ordinary people using a kit won't need to know all of that complex information. They only really will need to know the keynotes. And once you start using remedies and finding that they work, then it's a good thing really to have a little notebook and make a note that, you know, you took a certain remedy. Say you were a woman suffering from heavy periods and with quite low energy, feeling quite irritable, And this is classic really for like young women with children who've got the children all day and they get really irritable, and then their husbands come home and they tell them everything that's been happening during the day, and so you need to support me, and they get quite resentful, and they're getting heavy periods with quite bad pain and big clots. The remedy is sepia. And once you've taken that remedy, once you will remember, especially if you make a note of it, and because it's helped you, because you've noticed the difference in how you feel. But going back a little bit to how homeopathy works, I know it's quite hard to understand because there's less than one molecule of any substance in a remedy, and lots of the remedies are plants, but then there are others that are minerals, and even gold makes a remedy called aurum. But really, there is lots of things in life which we don't understand how they work. We just have to accept that they do. You know, like with all this technology that we're using right now, I don't understand how it works, but I trust that it does. And I try it, and, you know, I find it works for me. And in nature as well, you know, we know that the wind has a very powerful effect on us. And we know that the sun and the moon have powerful effects on us. But we don't try to work out why, we just know that it is. So sometimes it's although it's hard to get your head round, sometimes, you know, have an open mind and just try and see whether it might work for you. It's worth a try. So I did say, didn't I, about why to use homeopathy, and a few reasons for that. Well, really, one of the great reasons to use it is because it works, because it is empowering, and because it can make your sore throat better, and it can help your period pain, and it can help you recover from grief or a shock or an injury or a headache. But there are different remedies for those different symptoms. So if I just go back to the first aid kit again, this has got 18 different remedies in it. And these remedies will support a family in a lot of ways. So you can see there's 18 remedies there, and there's a little booklet. And then if we go for headaches, for instance, in the little booklet, the writing is quite small, but what I usually suggest to people is that if they're going to try homeopathy, they buy themselves a little book on Amazon which explains homeopathy a little bit better. But for instance, there's quite a few remedies here for headaches, and they're all in the kit. So headache from getting chilled is aconite. Headache from overexcitement or exertion, arsenicum. Throbbing headache during a period, belladonna.
Yeah. I mean, at the moment, a headache that people might have because the weather has been so heavy and so to do with, you know, exposure to sun for a bit too long.
Yeah, so belladonna is a remedy where you've got overheated and you might have a headache on the right side of the head. It's a remedy with all right-sided symptoms, and you will probably look quite red in the face. The headache will be throbbing, and you might have quite glassy eyes and feel really feverish. And if you take, it's also a remedy for high fevers as well. So where the body is overheated and there's throbbing sensations, you look very red in the face, and you take belladonna and you feel better, and then you think, oh, that actually has really made me feel better.
And you said it was safe to use at any age. You know, you've obviously used it on your obviously on clients, but originally on your own family, you had said. Am I right?
Yeah, I experimented on my family. They were my pigs when I was training to be a homeopath many years ago, and it was quite amazing sometimes. I remember my son used to get quite high fevers when he had a temperature and go a little bit delirious. And this is quite common with children, actually, that when they get a high fever, they'll go delirious and start seeing things. And my son, when he was about 12 or 13, used to get up in the middle of the night, not know what he was doing, switch all the lights on, talk gobbledygook. And I would know that he needed belladonna. So I would just get up, give him the remedy, and within 5 minutes he'd be back in bed. Now, if I hadn't have had that remedy, I guess I would have given paracetamol, but I don't know how long that would have taken before he settled down. I may have been up for hours.
So it sounds as if it's quite immediate, because often the homeopathy medicine are very small, so you take them quite quickly. So obviously you go straight into your body, I presume. Obviously I'm no doctor, so
there's the little glass vial. So they come in glass vials, so they will last a long time as well. They will last years and years, and they're not like pills where you will need to swallow a pill with water and it needs to be digested. They just dissolve in the saliva, in the mucous membranes in your mouth. So the result is quite instant. And I always talk about placebo effects because placebo effect is a thing, and there can be a placebo effect from anything. If someone says to you, "Oh, I think if you do this, you'll be much better in an hour," and that you know, we all know it's a real thing. If someone tells you that you're going to get better, you may well do that because of the positive mindset. But children and animals don't understand about that. They don't know about that. So I remember supporting a mum with a small baby who wouldn't sleep at all and was quite just overexcited. And with babies, you can't give them the pills because you don't know whether they might choke. So you just hold the pill on the inside of their cheek for 30 seconds. So they've not even had anything that they've swallowed. And remember being with the mum and watching this baby, holding the mum held the remedy, which was chamomilla, inside the baby's cheek. And within 2 minutes, the baby had calmed right down and had gone to sleep that quickly. And obviously the baby didn't know that he'd had a homeopathic remedy.
No.
And so
it's very
on an energetic level. So it can be very powerful and very empowering for people to know that they can access something really quickly, which is going to support them. And I think at the moment, because we've had a lot of uncertainty with health over the last 18 months and people have been quite anxious about their health, there's no doubt about that. I think that people are looking for something where they can help themselves as well. I believe it's very difficult to even see the doctor still. And, you know, sometimes you have to wait weeks for a face-to-face appointment. Whereas if someone's got a first aid kit that they've purchased from me, they can text me, email me, or voice message me, and I'll I'll give them, instant support unless it's a Sunday or, a day that I'm not working. But I can help them, by text and guide them to take the right remedy and empower them to be more confident about taking a little bit of control of their own health sometimes.
Yeah, I think you're very right in the sense of people are craving for some more natural ways of looking after themselves, even if, you can't get hold of the doctor, first of all, even now, so difficult. But also I think there's a need, and not a need, a desire now to reacquaint ourselves with nature and to be much more in tune with our bodies. And which brings me to another question. I mean, obviously, it looks as if it helps with problems, but can you help? Is it something you can also take as a bit like we take a supplement, or is it more for specific ailments? Do you see what I'm talking about? There
are a couple of remedies that you could take as a prophylactic. In other words, to prevent something happening that you usually suffer from. One is arnica. Arnica is the most amazing remedy that everybody should have, every single person in the country, because everybody suffers from aches and pains after overexertion. So, we all do too much gardening, or we're decorating, or we're climbing up a ladder. We're all doing those things sometimes where we just reach for something, or we bend down and we strain our muscles. So arnica you can definitely take before you know you're going to overexert yourself. Also, in my surgery support kits that I make for individuals having surgery, I do suggest that they take arnica the day before their surgery because it prepares the body. However, that does depend on the person, and it does depend on the surgery, because sometimes people are given blood thinners, and so we wouldn't give arnica and blood thinners together. So that's why it's so important, really, to have a little session with somebody that's having surgery, have a little mini consultation, and so that I can tailor their healing remedies exactly to their circumstances, their energy levels, and the level of surgery that they're having. Also, there are remedies for if, say, you are anxious about something that you're going to be doing. There's a remedy called lycopodium, which is vegetable sulfur, we call it in homeopathy, and it's a plant. It's called club moss. That's what the plant is. And if you're the sort of person that gets quite anxious when you know you've got something coming that you're going to be doing, but you know that once you start, you're going to be okay. In other words, it won't be like a panic attack. It will be anticipation anxiety. Lycopodium is a good remedy to take before the up and coming event. So that could be something like, if you're an actor or an actress, it's a remedy for people who perform. So it could be an actor or an actress nervous about performing on stage. It could be or anything really where someone is a little bit out of their comfort zone, but they know their stuff.
Yeah, an interview, you mean? Maybe an interview, or
an interview, that would be another.
Or a public speaking event, if you have to present.
Any kind of public speaking event where you know you will be all right, but you just have that anticipation in the couple of hours or the day before. Lycopodium really helps to calm your nerves. Other remedies that you might take in advance of something.
You mentioned Gill, also medicine, and I think our Kelly as well mentioned that taking something because you are scared of dying, and I was a bit, well, just and she mentioned, I think Kelly had mentioned dad used it. So that's quite a powerful thing, which is a bit, you're not going to jump and say, look, I'm scared of dying, give me something. So it's a little bit outside the box, isn't it? And
it is. It's very much outside the box.
Yeah, it's
this is the remedy. I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah, put it
it's on the wrong way around.
Yeah.
But it's Arsenicum album, and actually in real life that's arsenic. Now we all know that arsenic's a poisonous substance, but because in homeopathy like treats like, so what can be bad for you in the actual substance can treat those symptoms. I'm digressing a little bit here, but I'll come back to what you just mentioned.
Is it the same principle as a bit as a vaccine in a way? You get a little bit in a vaccine, you get a little bit of the disease, or is it the same principle?
It is, but in an energetic way. Not, as I said earlier, there's less than one molecule of a substance in a homeopathic remedy, and it's hard to explain, but we just have to trust that it works. And really, there is lots of research about homeopathy, and on the website of the association that I'm a member of, which is HINT, Homeopathy International, if anyone wants to look at the website of Homeopathy International, there is research on there that you can see. But the best way for people to know whether homeopathy is working for them is to notice how they feel, because they will feel different. They will feel better if they've got the right remedy. And, sometimes you might not take the right remedy, but no harm can be done. But going back to what you were asking me, and actually I'll give you a real example of this about Arsenicum album, which is the remedy for if you're frightened of passing over or fear of death with great anxiety. It's a remedy for really intense anxiety, really intense, where you really think you're going to die. My father-in-law last year wasn't very well, and he's 95. And every time he gets something wrong with him, we do wonder whether this is it. And so this time he did seem to be really unwell. So we put him to bed, and I did think to myself, this could be his last couple of days on earth. So I thought, I'm going to give him Arsenicum album, because he was saying, I'm just put me down. I'm going to go, And he was very, very restless and anxious, which is the symptoms of arsenicum. So I popped a pill in his mouth. We put him in bed and we said, stay there. And then we checked on him. We came home because he lives nearby, and we rang him. Half an hour later, he was back downstairs, completely fine. And he didn't know what he'd been given, and the restlessness and the anxiety had gone. It wasn't his time, but it treated his anxiety.
That sounds absolutely magical in a way. Sounds to be
homeopathy is very magical, and that's why I say that this first aid kit is like a treasure chest of magical remedies that could transform your life, like it has mine and those of my family and my clients.
So this kit, we can order it. Obviously, we'll give you details towards the end, but we can order it through you or through us. Yes, we can. And
get it through me.
And actually, as we are concentrating on this, that you mentioned headaches, what else does it cover? Would you say this little kit?
It covers shock, mental shock or physical shock. It covers headaches, as I mentioned. The hangover remedy is Nux Bomb. We all have a hangover some of the time, don't we? Accidentally sometimes.
We're going to talk about that one.
Yeah, I'm not asking you to own up, Helen.
No, it's fine. We're doing the week, so I'm not drinking yet, so I feel okay.
Yeah, me too. Yes, save it for the weekend. But Nux Vom, now that is also a remedy, although I wouldn't use it in this way, and I wouldn't really advocate using it in this way because I'm not advocating drinking alcohol. But if you took it when you knew you were going to be drinking, you might not have such a bad hangover. But I'm not advocating it so you can drink more alcohol. But if you've accidentally drunk, more than you intended, and you have got that feeling the next morning, that lethargy and that, the headache and the lethargy, where you just feel like you've been poisoned, really. Nux Vom will help to bring you back with lots of water as well.
Yeah, of course.
What else can we treat? I'm just looking at the remedies now.
Yes, of course.
Silica, this is an interesting one. If people get splinters, sometimes we do get a splinter and then you can't push it out. You can see it and it hurts, and sometimes they can get infected. Silica can push a splinter out of the body.
Oh, that's good. My partner, obviously being a builder, often gets splinters or little things, so that's good to know. And
also, things that are happening in the summer, insect bites and stings. If you're stung by a bee or a wasp, Apis is the remedy. As quite often people can get infected from insect bites and stings as well. Plus, they are really painful. I mean, if you're stung by a wasp, it's very painful. And, there's other things you can do as well, like ice and cucumber. But the homeopathic remedy Apis will take the inflammation right down. It really will. And if you've got a bite that goes purple, then the remedy is Ledum, Ledum, and that's in this kit as well.
Sandra is asking about hay fever, and actually I was going to ask you as well. I don't suffer from hay fever, but quite a few people around me do. And they end up taking antihistamine, over the counter or whatever the doctor's given them, but that's not very effective. Is there anything what could help?
Actually, it's not in this kit because this kit is 18 remedies, and there is a remedy with 30. There is a kit, with 36 remedies, and in that one there is a remedy called mixed pollens that's quite good for hay fever. But now I think there seems to be so many people with allergies that often I'm treating people constitutionally and giving other remedies as well, because it can be really overwhelming. It's not in this kit, but there's a remedy called Nat Mure, which is when you've got a continuous stream of runny nose from hay fever on the right side. And the remedy that I was talking about before, Arsenicum album, that's similar if it's on the left side.
Okay.
But probably better for people to have a chat with me really about hay fever. But mixed pollen is a good place to start. You can order these remedies individually online as well if you want to, or you can get them from me. One remedy I really want to mention is Ignatia. So I would say this is the #1 remedy for grief. We all suffer from grief at some time, but it's also a stress remedy. So if anybody is suffering from sort of longer term stress, worrying, feeling frustrated, feeling really exhausted and unable to cope and very unable to relax, really. Ignatia is a great remedy because it works on your stress responses in the top of your head and on your nervous system. So it's quite calming. And how you would know if you needed that is if you get lots of jerks and cramps in your body, twitches, because your nervous system is so overexcited. So it's a great remedy that everybody would benefit from having at home.
Someone, well, I'm not quite sure it is saying, can I have your website? So maybe I can put it on a mobile there straight away, because I don't know if people will be able to stay. What's your
Thanks,
website,
Helen.
so that we can, is it Gill Clark, or what is your
my website address? It's Gill with a G, Gill Clark Wellbeing, Clark
Gill
with Anthony,
Clark?
GillClarkWellbeing.com.
Well, so just one word, wellbeing.
It's Natalie. Yeah.
.com.
Yeah, all one word.
Oh, yeah, Natalie. Sorry, Natalie. You can log in if you want, Natalie, but Gill Clark.
There is actually a blog on my website about hay fever.
Yeah, hay fever is a very, very common. In a way, as you mentioned, all the allergy are the difficult one, because often people have got hay fever, they've got other type of allergy. They might be allergic to gluten or things like that. So I think if you have an allergy of some sort, you would really want people to come and see you, because it'll be an overall thing, isn't it? Looking at the whole person and what happens.
Well, I do offer a free 20-minute chat to anybody, whatever they're suffering from. And I will say, if it's, after they tell me what they're suffering from, I will say whether we can try a few different remedies, or whether I think it would be better if they had a full consultation where I can prescribe for them remedies for them. Because what a lot of homeopaths are finding now is that because of modern life and what we call our toxic load, in other words, the number of chemicals that our bodies are absorbing for lots of reasons. So that can be anything from, toiletries, perfumes, medications that people take, the birth control pill, alcohol, all sorts of things. Our bodies, when they reach a certain point, our bodies become intolerant and start giving us symptoms. Because our bodies are very intelligent, actually. So then we start to get oversensitivities because our body isn't eliminating the toxins properly. And that's when we get oversensitive and intolerant, or, really chronic allergies. It's because our body can't tolerate lots of things. And the hay fever may be the thing that triggers it.
Yeah.
But, with other people, one remedy might just sort it. Depends how healthy people are, really.
Yeah. Kelly has mentioned Ignatia for grieving, she said. But she mentioned UTI. I don't know, but then...
Yeah, Kelly says, I used Ignatia when I was grieving and had a severe urinary tract infection. Antibiotics made it worse, so this was such a relief. So that's such a classic example of what we call the never been well since. So people often think of the things they suffer from as just physical symptoms. But when we talk to clients, and say someone came to me and they said, I talked to them, they said to me, oh, my sister died 3 years ago, and, it was quite traumatic. I feel that I've not really grieved. I just went back to work and carried on, and my period stopped and they've never come back properly. That would be so obvious to me that they were in traumatic shock, and the shock has just gone into their body and given them physical symptoms of, their period stopping, because shock and trauma and grief can paralyze our bodies and do all sorts of things. So thanks for that, Kelly. That is such a very typical example of how, you had a physical symptom, but really it was an emotional cause. And people might find it hard to believe, but a lot of physical symptoms, the cause will be mental, emotional, stress related, but the person hasn't realised.
Yeah.
So because of that, often, and I'm sure Kelly might relate to this, that she took her Ignatia and her severe urinary tract infection got better, and then probably her grief came up to the surface, and so she was able to acknowledge it and grieve properly. This is very common that people, because a lot of people are very strong and they are good copers, and we don't all grieve in the same way either, but people do tend to keep busy, and eventually their mental symptoms will go away, but it doesn't mean that your body's not still holding that somewhere. And there are lots of examples where well, I'll give you an example of a client who's got quite chronic IBS symptoms, and when I talked to her about when it started, it was about 5 years of chronic stress related to what was going on in her life, and bringing up children on her own and having to cope with all of that. So, sometimes it's hard for people to ask for help, but when people come to see me for a consultation, it isn't just about the remedies, it's about asking for help, and sometimes just having your own words reflected back to you as well, the things that you've said, which you might not have realised. The actual consultation can be very therapeutic in itself. Some people, I find, have never actually talked about themselves in their whole life ever before, until they come and talk to me confidentially. Yeah, so it can be quite life-changing, really, when that happens.
So would you say that every time someone, not every time, but sometimes when someone come and say, oh, I don't know, I've got terrible migraines, you might need to ask obviously more questions about their lifestyle, because it could be that migraines because you are stressed at work, or the kids are screaming all the time, or whatever reason. So the consultation you're mentioning will have to be looking at the whole person, isn't it, and asking quite actually possibly the deep questions, I presume. You mentioned
that's right.
confidentiality a bit, which is essential for people
and it doesn't really matter as well if people feel they can't talk about whatever the issue is. It doesn't matter, actually. I don't need to know what the issue is. I just need to know how they feel about it. Whether they're feeling guilty, sad, exhausted, broken, whatever the feeling might be. I don't need to know what actually happened always, because sometimes people can't even talk about something because it's so painful. But there's a crossover with homeopathy and counselling, but it's not just about the talking. Homeopathy is very powerful on its own, and can be life-changing. Recently, I had a client who has got quite a few things going on, and it's quite well known that tinnitus is quite hard to treat. The allopathic doctors will say it's hard to treat, and they will say you've probably got to live with it. I suggested something for this lady which wasn't really for her tinnitus. It was to calm down her body. And she said to me, the first night, her tinnitus was 50% better overnight than it normally would be.
That's really
So,
good. So what you didn't treat her for that is obviously whatever you gave her calmed her down, which meant that she didn't have this vibration in her ear.
Yeah. People often don't realise what's happening in their body until it changes, and then they realise, you know, that they've been trying to live with something physically or mentally which is restricting them in their life.
Yeah, I suppose we all develop some sort of coping mechanisms, which, you know, for other people would be not right. I mean, if I had tinnitus, possibly initially you would be really annoyed, but after a while you just, you know, get used to it, I suppose.
And people are quite stoic and they do learn to live with things, but they often don't have much quality of life because of that, and they lose their confidence in lots of ways and won't do things that they used to do.
And who do you mainly work with? Is it more, I mean, do you have men coming? Because men find it more difficult to talk about health, isn't it? Or is it more women, or you're quite happy to have both, I suppose?
I mainly treat women, really. I say that I specialise in women's health, and that's really because I do really understand women, because I'm a woman myself. I've got a lot of life experience and a lot of experience as a therapist. So to be honest, there isn't much that I haven't experienced myself in life. Most people that I talk to, I've probably experienced something similar and come through it. So I can empathise a lot like that. But that's not to say that I wouldn't. I'm quite happy to see men. You know, I don't mind, but I understand women and things like the menopause and menstrual irregularities and bringing up children and, you know, balancing work with home life. I've done all that stuff myself, so I understand it as a woman as well, which I think does help.
Definitely.
Yeah.
It's very interesting because you obviously studied homeopathy quite a while ago, but you came back to it much more with the lockdown.
I did.
Did you want to say why you felt that it was a calling? I mean, tell us why you decided to change.
Well, really, because I trained 25 years ago, and I knew then that it was like my life purpose, really. I knew it was. And for various reasons, it didn't really work out for me. I couldn't get it to work. It was probably great for my clients, but not for me. And so, you know, a lot of water under the bridge since then. I'm much more savvy now about business and how to manage my own boundaries, and not to overwork so much, and to look after myself. And I think the technology has changed, which makes it so doable. You know, when I first started practicing homeopathy, there wasn't any networking groups at all. There wasn't any ways of me spreading the word, only through word of mouth through clients. And I think I'm better now at asking clients to tell their friends as well, than I used to be.
But you do other things as well, aren't you? Would you say a word about you sell magnets, jewelry, which are really beautiful?
I do feel, I call myself a natural health specialist, and one of the things that I feel I am a specialist in is people that are in pain. I'm not going to say that I can cure them of their pain, but I can definitely help them to cope with their pain with more natural ways. And one of those is with magnets. I'm a distributor for energetics, magnetic jewellery, and there's a lot of wellbeing products that can really help people manage their pain naturally. But also I've got other tools in my box, like essential oils, which I know of certain combinations that really work well within 5 minutes if someone's really in pain. And last week I was supporting someone that had broken her wrist, and she was in terrible pain. And actually homeopathy can help with knitting bone together, but we have to wait until the surgeon says that the bone has knit back together. If we give the remedies before that, we might be knitting the bone together lopsided. So when I get the okay from my client that the allopaths say the bone is set properly, the way it should be, then I can give the remedies to help the bone knit back together faster, and their bodies will help with that. But she was all plastered up, so I said to her, why don't you use this essential oil combination, which I know works within 5 minutes. I said, you can't put it on your wrist because the plaster's there, but either put it on the soles of your feet or the palm of your hand, because I know that whatever you put on the soles of your feet goes right through your body really quickly. Your body feels that. And she did say to me that the pain relief was, that it started to become manageable, because bone pain is really, really painful.
It is. I broke my wrist.
I've forgotten what you asked me now.
Yeah, no, I was asking you because this is very interesting, and also because I'm aware that time's flying, and that I wanted to basically see how people can get in touch with you and what you do apart from the homeopathy.
Oh, yeah, I was talking about what I specialise in. So women's health, really, and people in pain, I can help them manage their pain better. Pain is caused by inflammation. I might be able to, with homeopathy and other things, reduce the inflammation and reduce the pain, but I don't make promises for that. But I've got lots of tools in my box that can help with that. But also, because I'm a lover of open water swimming, I do also treat people that have ailments from open water swimming with homeopathy. So that can be sunburn, exhaustion, swimmer's itch, which open water swimmers, they'll know what that is. Injuries, where they put their feet down and they stand on a rock or something. Anxiety about a big event that they're going to be swimming in. Anything like that. Open water swimmers will know what all the symptoms are. And actually, I had an article published recently.
Oh, wonderful. Where is your article? Again, I'm going to try to put it. Which magazine was it?
I've forgotten what it's called.
No, not to worry.
Yeah, I've forgotten what it's called. It slipped my mind. Oh dear, yeah.
It's okay. Maybe you had given me a document. Well, I don't know his document. So where you are, I think it'd be nice for me, maybe for a minute or two, people can see how to contact you. I did send your email, but also it might be good. So give me a second so I can share something. I can share a document. I hope it's in the right place. Share screen, and I want to share the Chrome tab, and it should be this. Share. Okay. So you mentioned. I hope everyone should be able to see. I don't know if we can be seen at the moment.
I can see it, Helen.
You can see it. That's great. I don't think we are seen, but I don't think it matters too much for a minute. But you mentioned. So you want to talk a little bit about this, and I'll bring the screen down as you're explaining. Is it the first aid kit you mentioned?
It is. So it's a good way to start. And I just want to quote a saying. We've all heard of Hippocrates and what a wise person he was. He said, healing is a matter of time, but it's also a matter of opportunity. If you get the opportunity to try a different way of healing, a homeopathy first aid kit is an excellent place to start. You can take this on holiday with you. You can take it anywhere with you. You can take it on your open water swimming with you, put it in your waterproof bag. It's such a helpful tool if you are interested in exploring how natural health might support you. And, you know, there's lots of reasons why people might want to do that. Might be because they are unwell, might be because they've had bad experiences with other symptoms that they've got which haven't got better the traditional way, or it could be because they know someone else that's tried homeopathy and they want to give it a go themselves. But if someone wants to purchase a kit from me, I'm happy to give them everyday homeopathy support by text or email.
What happened?
And I also will replace the little files at a low cost as well. So that you've always got that in your first aid kit at home.
Excellent. What sort of money is it at the moment? We are, today is the 20th of July 2021. Price do change, but how much are you, if I was to order one now, how much would I need to pay?
It's £35.
And the one which
is only a couple of pounds per remedy. No, and that's a lot cheaper than buying them in a pharmacy. A lot cheaper. And you get the little book as well.
I will purchase one, Jill. So one on the side for me.
Okay.
And, yes, I think I didn't know very much about homeopathy before we talked, and I find it very informative and very interesting. It might be nice as well if anyone has got a question, as we are.
Anyone got a question? We've got a little bit of time. I don't mind another 5 minutes or so.
Yeah. So if there's anyone's got a question or something, we shared your details. Obviously, if you want more things, I'm just looking again here as well.
Okay, while we're waiting for questions then, I'll just round off by saying the best things that homeopathy can do for you. Make your symptoms better, make your energy go up, you feel better in yourself, boost your immune system, empowers you, and it works. So why not try it?
Wonderful. I don't think there's any question, and I think you've given the last word. You also said a beautiful quote by Hippocrates.
Hippocrates.
I don't know how to pronounce this.
Yeah, Hippocrates.
Would you say that quote again for us?
Healing is a matter of time, but also a matter of opportunity.
Yes. On this note,
you know, we know there's no such thing as coincidence.
No, that's right. We have to take action. So I think it was Natalie, but she said she'll be in touch. Super talk, Jill. So thank you so much.
I don't know who you are, but that's really kind of you. Thank you.
I think it's Natalie. I don't know.
Natalie?
Don't know. She didn't log in. Kelly saying brilliant. So we've got some lovely feedback. Yes. How much is the kit, Sandra? You were not listening. The kit is 35, I think, isn't it?
35, yeah.
35 plus postage, I believe.
Yeah. Or you can collect from my doorstep.
Yeah. Okay. So get in touch. Yes, it is
Natalie. Yeah. Hi, Natalie.
Now,
thank you. Enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's good. Thank you. Lots of thank yous. Absolutely amazing. Thank you, Jill, to give us all your time and all this knowledge. And this broadcast will be on YouTube, so I will send you the link so you can use it for your own, for your own promotion. Maybe put it on your website. But I hope that other people are going to watch it on replay. If you do watch it on replay, please put #replay. We know that you have watched a little bit. There was Linda White, I think, early on was watching, but she must have gone now. But thank you if you've been watching. Thank you so much, Jill. Thank you for all this. And
thank you, Helen. I'm always happy to talk about natural health.
Definitely.
And I'm glad that the listeners and watchers have enjoyed it.
Yes.
And
some lovely feedback there. So really, really nice. Thank you. Get in touch with Gill. We've given you all the details. And
can I give you a little plug before we go? Oh, you're frozen. I'm going to carry on talking.
Sorry.
Can I give you a little plug? I just want to give Helen a plug because she's such a lovely lady. She's a great life coach, and she teaches people to be able to speak in public, and she's helped me a lot. But she's also runs the Hearts in Business, which is a network of women in small businesses, I would say mainly, where we share resources, we support each other, and we inspire each other, don't we, Helen?
We do. Thank you so much for saying that, Gill. That's really, really kind. Yes, I haven't asked for my own testimonial for a while, so that was really, really kind. Really,
oh,
really
you're welcome.
Yes, so Hearts and Business.
We'd like to see more ladies join us, wouldn't we?
Yes, more people, please get in touch to join. Get in touch to join or to talk to me about the Hearts in Business. I would be really, really nice. So I can explain a bit more what it's all about. Lots of resources and lots of business networking, some, friendship being built as well. I think everyone in the group has become really a wonderful friend. Lots of support, which is really important when you run your business on your own and you've got a small business. And
we don't meet in person at the moment, do we? We meet on Zoom. So that means that people can be anywhere in the country and still be a part of what we do.
Exactly. So that's it on this note. Thank you so much, everyone. And have a wonderful evening. Thank you very much.
Okay. Have a nice evening, everyone.